Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know the Honourable Minister provided the responses very well. He basically destroyed the myth or the lies that keep coming from the other side, especially some of the new honourable members. I think the older ones probably understand the legacy. But let me just remind them, Mr. Speaker, we are looking at 2014, 15, 16, 17 reports. This, Mr. Speaker, itself proves the point that Honourable Minister was making, Honourable Minister Tuiswa was making about the legacy issues. Honourable Tuinadeva was a CEO in 2015, so I'm not sure whether he's also responsible for the delay in getting these reports. But let me just give you an example, Mr. Speaker. We are looking at we're looking at the reports. We're looking at the reports, and we cannot understand how an organization does if the reports don't come on a timely manner, if they are not scrutinized by the Auditor General, if it is not scrutinized by the Parliament. How can it? This was a consistent problem that you said, no, all of us in the opposition knew about the previous government's inability to bring annual reports on time. And let me just give you these examples, Mr. Speaker. 2017, so we're looking at 2014, 15, 16, 17.
Order.
2017 and 2018, this is the update. This is the update. They don't like this, Mr. Speaker. They don't like this, but this is the fact. This is the fact. 2017 and 18, the update, annual report design has been completed. This has yet to be finalized and printed. 2018 and 19, this is in progress. The report will be designed and printed in the 2023-2024 financial year. 2019-2020, this is in progress. The completion of the report is dependent on the completion of the audit sale. 2020-2021, this is in progress. The completion of the report is dependent on the completion of the audit. 2021-2022 said, this is in progress. The completion of the report is dependent on the completion of the audit. Mr. Speaker, they talk about the problems that we have. They were the most manipulative government in terms of what was happening in the LTA. The board, the whole apparatus, the whole organization was dysfunctional. And this is why we haven't been able to get the reports on time. And here we are talking about these reports and trying to tell the new government what it should have done in the last 6 months. Of course we are doing it. Of course we are doing it. As Honourable Minister said, they're talking about the road conditions. Yes, we know there are potholes. Yes, we know there are potholes during that time. But when we came into power, Mr. Speaker said, they had spent the whole budget for a year in 6 months. There were, Mr. Speaker, crooks running some of those organizations. Crooks sitting on the board, crooks running the organization. And they were not able to fix and spend money, give value for money.
Order. Honourable Speaker, I thought we were in a fish market. Honourable Speaker, this is a point of order under 74(1).
Parliamentary practice, sir. Honourable Speaker, time and time again, the Honourable Minister of Finance is labelling accusations and calling people crooks and liars and
What's
all
the
that
point of
kind
order?
stuff. Honourable Speaker, I think it's about time if you are worth your salt in this House, if you are going to label an accusation against anybody, give it with some proof. Honourable Speaker, he has to come up with the proof. He's labelled accusations against board members, etc. at LTA. Please give us the proof.
And bring the report.
It will come, Mr. Speaker. Let them wait. And some, Mr. Speaker, have already been identified. That's a fact. The new board is on the dot. They are working on it. The minister is working on it. And we are going to make sure that from now onwards, Mr. Speaker, we have value for money. We have a right environment, a right process to follow so that we ensure there's value for money. But the point that they need to admit, they need to accept, Mr. Speaker, is that we were not able to produce annual reports on time. The Auditor General was not able to look at the accounts. How can we, in this Parliament, Mr. Speaker, when the horse has bolted already, audit reports, are pending for years. How can you run an organization on the basis of that? That is the point we are making, and we are now, Mr. Speaker, as a government, we are making sure, and we will ensure that there is proper monitoring, evaluation of organizations, statutory organizations, government commercial companies, where government puts in taxpayers' funds, that we get timely annual reports, we get timely audits, so that we have a proper perspective on how the organizations are running and whether they are performing. That's the most important aspect of the work of this Parliament, the work of various, committees. But if the reports are not there, how can we do that, Mr. Speaker? So let me just conclude by saying that the government in the last budget, Mr. Speaker, has provided adequate funding to LTA, adequate funding to FRA. There are new structures, new processes being put in place. A lot of work has already been done. A lot of work is being done. Roads are being identified. Of course, we understand there are areas where the roads need urgent attention. There are potholes in some of the roads. Mr. Speaker, that's going to be fixed. And I want to assure the people of Fiji and those who are affected in areas where the roads are not as good as it ought to be, that the Fiji Roads Authority, and as the Minister said, is on track, and these issues will be addressed as quickly as possible. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.